And welcome back. We are now at part 4 of this week's RETCONVERSATIONS, exploring the DC relaunch books. So, we're going to talk about 2 books here. One book that I think is pretty good, and one book that I think is absolutely fucking brilliant. And it's definitely my book of the week. But first we're going to talk about the book that I liked, thought was good, but it's, I think it needs a little bit of polishing, and that is Frankenstein, Agent of S.H.A.D E. S.H.A.D E, superhuman advanced defense executive. Didn't know what it stood for before. Glad that it spelled it out for me. Now this is Jeff Lemire, who wrote last week's brilliant Animal Man #1. Art is Alberto Ponticelli, another Italian name. Got some interesting agents to this organization. We've got, of course, Frankie. We've got Ray Palmer, who's kind of overseeing what's going on within S.H.A.D E, and he's actually, they've actually constructed this, like microscopic little base that floats above New York City, and they use, teleportation technology and Ray Palmer's, miniaturization technology to get things going, and Ray's there basically to check out, like I said, to kind of be a watchdog, if you will. Because he, as he says at one point, this is just, there are so many ways that this could be just mad scientist shit going horribly wrong, and he could be right. But we got Father Time, who again, I'm not familiar. The only character here that I'm really familiar with was the Atom, so the other ones I have no idea who they are. Literally zero. I know of course, of Frankenstein's story, but I don't know really of his story within the DC universe. So, I mean, perhaps I should take a look at, the Flashpoint Creatures of the Unknown, but whether that would even make a difference, I don't know, because that was Flashpoint universe. So, we've got the Creature Commandos. Father Time is a little girl, too. I think that's just kind of funny. But Creature Commandos, you've got a vampire, basically this guy who has like a variant of Kirk Langstrom, aka Man-Bat's serum in him. We've got a werewolf. We've got a mummy, and we have a fish lady. Not quite Creature of the Black Lagoon, but I do like how this is kind of, they're kind of working with, these kind of universal classic monsters type of idea. But this, the fish lady, she's more kind of Abe Sapien-esque rather than, Creature of the Black Lagoon type of thing. But these characters are cool. Now, Frankie seems to be on the outs with his wife. Again, she kind of remains unidentified, and I think she has 4 arms. At least that's what it looked like. But she was sent into this town, this small town in Washington State, I believe. And it's been overrun by monsters, and they have no contact with her. So Frank and the Creature Commandos, who he does not want to work with, have been inserted into this zone to get rid of the monsters. There's some interesting character work that goes into Frankenstein's character. Some of the other characters do suffer because they're they seem to kind of want to explain what's going on, but don't really get to it. Doesn't seem like there's enough time or enough pages to get to all the characters that need a little bit more work. That's Scotty back there. He's my co-star in this segment. Say hello, Scotty. Scotty. See, he's saying hello. He's gonna jump down and probably come over here. You wanna come up? You wanna come up? Hello? Okay. But anyway, again, it's a good #1 first issue of a comic. I will continue to read this. I don't think it's really anywhere near as strong as Lemire's work on Meyer, however you pronounce his name, as Animal Man was, but it's still pretty strong. It's still, you know, it's still very much in the game as far as I'm concerned. And now we're going to move on to my book of the week, which anybody who, well, I guess I probably got the chance to talk about it once or twice over the past, however, you know, several months that I've been doing this, but maybe not. But that's Batwoman. Okay, Batwoman. You know, kind of, you know, it's kind of a bunch of different creators went into this, but you know, it was kind of Greg Rucka who really started the work with Batwoman. You know, because for a while it was Detective Comics starring Batwoman, and that was a hell of a run. I loved Rucka's work on that. And then she got her own title for I think 5 issues, in which they did the elegy. Or elegy. I don't actually even know how to pronounce that word, and I feel really stupid now. The elegy storyline, which involved, you know, basically Kate Kane's sister as, you know, someone who has really gone absolutely nutsoid supervillain, and that, as we're assuming, is dead. But, you know, Batwoman, you know, I like the fact that her character is, you know, an offshoot of the Kathy Kane character of the Silver Age. And, you know, she was kind of inserted into that age, you know, after Frederick Wertham's, you know, Seduction of the Innocent, where, you know, Batman and Robin were the, you know, the ultimate, you know, like a homosexual's dream relationship and all that kind of crap. You know, all the shit that, you know, Wertham did to fuck up the comics industry, that scumbag. You know, she was inserted in as a love interest for Batman, as was Betty Kane, you know, her, you know, Kathy Kane's niece, cousin, in that era as a love interest for Robin. And there he goes again. Apparently he wants to get more involved. Anyway, so we've got and Kate Kane now is, you know, this kind of, you know, this they put it as like this goth rockabilly, you know, femme lipstick lesbian. They call her a lipstick lesbian because she's not a, you know, butch, you know, bull dyke, or, you know, all those stupid fucking, you know, words they put on, you know, GLBT characters. You know, it's just, you know, fucking retarded. You know, some of these people, and, you know, how incredibly close-minded they can get. Anyway, so, but the fact that, you know, that she is, you know, basically she is the, you know, probably the highest profile gay character in all of comicdom. And that's great, because, you know, it's certainly, it's wonderful to have, you know, a GLBT character that gets, you know, that, you know, that has their own book, certainly, for one, and is part of the Bat family. So it's part 2. This book, as, you know, it's it's kind of co-written by J.H. Williams III and W. Hayden Blackman, who I've never heard of before. But they're kind of co-writing it, and Williams is doing the art. The art. This is by far the most gorgeous book since you know, since this relaunch started, and probably just one of the most gorgeous books. Period. Almost every page is, you know, throughout this whole comic is a double page. And that's, you know, Williams' style. That's basically Williams' style, is that, you know, but, you know, there's nothing wasted. There's no wasted space in anything here. There's a bit of a controversy surrounding, you know, there is a moment in the comic where Kate Kane regards a picture of Renee Montoya on the wall, and all the color is drained out of it, and just her face and Kate's short red hair are showing, and it made you wonder, okay, did Renee die? You know, because, you know, as the Question, she's such a cool character. But thankfully she's alive. I read that tonight. DC Women Kicking Ass. They have, you know, they're on Tumblr. They're also on Twitter. I suggest following them because they have some really great things to say. You know, specifically about women and the lack thereof sometimes in DC. But it also goes to, you know, it also shows us when, okay, these are really good examples of, you know, really solid female characters, because there is a distinct lack of them. And especially of women writers. But anyway, you know, I forgot that, you know, back to the book, I did forget that, that Bet Kane was Flamebird. She was part of the Teen Titans for a while. Now she's just pleb. I love that. You know, that's basically what she, you know, Kate took the Flamebird outfit, burned it, incinerated it, doesn't want to see it on her anymore. If she's going to, you know, kind of be, you know, the Robin to her Batgirl, you know, to her Batwoman, excuse me, not Batgirl, someone totally different, to her Batwoman, then, you know, she needs to kind of learn the basics. She needs to get back to basics, and that's what she's really doing here. The DEO and Agent Chase that have been shown and discussed before, I believe, in this very comic title, or at least in the Batwoman work. I've kind of forgotten someone. Hell's for Blogs, you probably know. And I was actually on Wikipedia looking at some of the other characters, but didn't bother to look this one up because, frankly, it's not that important. But basically, they want to know who Batwoman is. They're tired of looking at who Batman is, because they can never figure it out. It always seems to lead to somebody else, because that's just how fucking awesome Bruce Wayne is, and Dick Grayson. But anywho. So we've got, you know, there's definitely also some leftover. You know, we've got a really interesting villainous. Again, seems to be more of, you know, maybe an urban legend. You know, kind of it's creepy. It's, you know, she's very creepy, villainous, but it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be like a ghost story, and I think that's really what they're kind of shooting for. Is that, you know, maybe that Batwoman, I think, is dealing with things that are a little bit more crazy. They're a little bit more out of the ordinary, even for Batman. And if that's what they're going for, then great. There is definitely some remnants of that pain from the Elegy storyline that's going on between Kate and her father, Colonel Kane. Because she is kind of a military brat. You know, she was led to believe that, you know, both her mother and her sister were dead, but in fact her sister was still alive and had become this, you know, psycho villain. This isn't a great #1 book because there is a lot of, you know, there's a lot of leftover, but it's a great continuation because finally we're seeing Batwoman again. I've been waiting for this for a long time. And that's not why it's Book of the Week. It's Book of the Week because it just is that fucking great. This is a great book. This is a great issue. I'm so happy that Batwoman's back. I'm so happy that J.H. Williams' art is back. And I'm so happy that a really smart comic with a really, really strong female lead and obviously a controversial and unconventional one is in it. So that's it for this week of RETCONVERSATIONS. Thanks for tuning in. Thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe, comment, criticize, whatever. We'll see you next time.